This is Lost in Seattle. In the grifter, the alleged grifter, Tamika Mallory Cadillac has all of a sudden just decided to release a commercial with her. I think she got a deal with them.
I guess she's sponsored by them now.
So was Samaria Rice right about
it seems so.
Tamika Mallory?
Her argument was that she was profiting off of black victimization and death, and she's an activist, influencer activist. I keep using that term because that's what she is. She's an influencer activist or activist influencer.
So is it okay for an activist to take deals like this?
From corporations? I would imagine not.
I would imagine not too.
Yeah.
So we're going to play this snippet of her Cadillac commercial.
And it's Cadillac. That's the crazy part. Niggas been connected to Cadillacs.
Let's be, it's connected to black men.
And we're going to get into that.
I've been an activist for 25 years of my life. I come from a very long line of strong women. They always encourage me to use every single resource to help another young woman who's on her journey. I am sure black women will lead this nation to a better place. We're taking control and we're shaping our stories.
Ooh, did she say black women are going to lead this nation?
Look, this commercial, now, if you know anything about Cadillacs in the black community have been connected to black men.
So it's almost as if the black woman is taking over the black man.
And she just
role.
said it, they're taking over. So this commercial was more like she was putting the new leadership. Okay, black women run this now. We're the ones.
Well, they've been running it.
Yeah, we're the ones driving the Cadillac now. No longer is the black man. Because sense of status in the black community for the longest was a man who had a Cadillac.
Yeah, that was a staple.
That was a staple of being. You got bread, you got money, you're successful. You got a Cadillac, obviously along with an Impala, but that was a hood car though. So, and
if you go to the likes and dislikes on the video, it's overwhelmingly dislikes.
Yeah,
the people in the comment section ain't fucking with it. Most people in the comment section consider her a grifter now, and as you said before we started the video, I think she may be done.
I think she's done from the standpoint of it being a clean getaway. Now she got too many people that's gonna be paying attention to what she does now. It's not gonna be an easy getaway thing. And I say 2 years ago, if she did this commercial, they'd be saying, "Oh, look, she got a commercial. That's so dope."
I'm gonna read a couple comments. So one person said, "So let's be clear. If you were ever expecting tangible black activism from that sister, it ain't happening." And then another person said, "This is probably the most gross misuse of the black struggle
for a fucking car
for a car commercial." Even though we be dropping F-bombs on here all the time. So yeah, the comment section is not feeling this commercial. Neither are we. And so Tamika, I think she got started in civil rights because, she lost a child of her, her father, her husband died, and she says that's what started her in civil rights. And it brought her into gun control.
Mm-hmm. But notice the title of this article isn't that she lost her husband, it's that she lost her son's father.
Yeah.
I wonder what that.
And even in this article, she was mainly more focused about her son not having a father versus her husband not being present or alive.
So that says a lot. Well, her commercial was seen very feminist as well, so who knows?
So it says Tamika Mallory advises Vice President Biden on the ongoing effort to strengthen federal gun restrictions. She said it's something personal for her.
Yeah, of course it is, but I mean, I could imagine if you lose somebody to gun violence,
of course,
you would have a sense of we need to get rid of these guns.
That's why you really can't be mad at her for wanting gun control, especially when you lost someone as close as she did from that act.
Yeah.
She's an old executive of Reverend Al Sharpton's National Action Network. She's a rising star in the next generations of civil rights movement. Her membership on Biden's gun control task force is but the latest example of her spreading civic reach.
Yeah, that Al Sharpton's National Action Network. You got to look into who also funded them. It's not a surprise that she got a sponsorship now from Cadillac. When you look,
you got A&T, you got Viacom,
Walmart.
Viacom it's over BET.
Yeah, Comcast.
Comcast is the big one because there was a situation
with Brian Ireland.
And
Al Sharpton.
Sharpton was backing Comcast over him.
The entire Congressional Black Caucus was on the side of Comcast.
Well, because Comcast was funding funding them too as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And also
there's a little snippet here that you need to pay attention to in this article.
These are the experiences she draws from when she has Biden's ear. Our process of advising a national leader, President Obama's point man in the drive for gun control that she calls going from the streets to the suits.
So we back to the gun control with her.
Yep.
So
well, that's what all the shooting and stuff is going on right now. Every time they try to promote stuff to take away people's guns. So,
but she also had she was on a cover of Vogue. Written.
But I think it does. You can get it here in America.
Yeah. So this is some of the stuff from the article.
So she's the daughter of two civil rights leaders. In 2017, she had a key role in organizing the first women's march in Washington. Y'all remember that? That was against Trump. And she is currently fighting to deliver justice for Breonna Taylor through her social reform organization Until Freedom.
Listen, I would like Breonna Taylor to get justice as well, obviously, but they are milking. I'm gonna show y'all some of the posters. There was a poster done. Remember, I think Kyrie Irving hosted an event, and they had all these activists on the poster, but Breonna Taylor picture was in the corner.
Yep.
Alone. It was like, well, who is this really about?
Yet it was her explosive, powerful speech in Minneapolis following the death of George Floyd that cemented her status as one of the most vital activists of her generation. So they're saying she's the most
I don't know about that.
Vital activist of the generation?
Yeah, but once again, she's been doing activism for 25 years, but it wasn't until she spoke for George Floyd. I was going to say that. It wasn't until she spoke for George Floyd that she get national attention.
The black man energy.
So once again, how many careers has George Floyd's death created at this point?
It's created a lot.
Let's create about a dozen of these activists that popped out all of a sudden since he died. Like, he's giving so many people jobs. They kind of glad he got killed. Honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty sad the way you.
Let's be honest. It's they at this point they're vultures.
So in the Vogue article, it says, "Tell us a little bit about your work with Until Freedom." Until Freedom is a social justice organization. We fight for disenfranchised people and communities, and we specifically focus on criminal justice, gun violence, and women issues. When I say women issues, we're specifically looking at how criminal justice and gun violence intersect with women of color, not just black women, all women of color. So in this particular moment, we are very, very focused on Breonna Taylor. So Breonna Taylor, they're using her as the engine for this women's
That's it.
movement.
They started it with the George Floyd energy. And then they turned that into the Breonna Taylor energy, and now they're trying to market her as the face of black women being failed by the system. And she was failed.
Women of color.
Yes, she was failed, by the way. But they're using her as the face of a failed system. It's no longer all these black men that get killed by the police, which I will say, I don't know if her activism is only for police violence or if it's for gun violence in general.
I think it's for gun violence in general.
So she's also counting gang violence that kills black people, particularly black women. So that's fine.
Yeah.
But she's trying to make the police gun violence a woman's issue rather than a police issue. And I find it strange.
And she said, and we're going to continue in the article, Until Freedom partners with numbers of organizations that are focused on women who have been victims of gun violence. We don't often see stories of women who have been shot. Well, we don't often see guns because we're going to pull that up too, of the statistics of women being shot
I think she's
by police officers.
Yeah, by police officers.
We're not talking about like
gang violence in the hood.
Violence or like domestic violence. And unfortunately, oftentimes it happens as a result of men and either the fragility that some men are dealing with, unable to properly participate in relationships, and or it happens as a result of women being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Ooh. Meg Thee Stallion
Please, guy.
is an example of that right now. As a major artist, it has been reported that she was just shot in both of her feet by a man who is also an artist. The media's attention that she receives around this incident does not happen often enough for other women.
Now, wasn't this article released late last year?
August 2020.
Yes.
August 4th, 2020.
Okay, so this case, the Meg Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez situation is stupid because she shouldn't have brought that up. Because the Tory Lanez, Meg Thee Stallion situation is just, at this point, it's going nowhere. So the recent developments in that case is, obviously it came out that the charges were dropped. She came out and said that's a lie. The charges were not dropped. But I don't know why, for some reason, Meg Thee Stallion and her people, her lawyers and stuff, wanted the judge to put out an order to stop Tory Lanez from speaking about the case publicly. And I don't understand how that makes sense. If you're accusing me of something, and I was waiting for the court date. We all waiting for the court date. And you accuse me of something, I want to say I'm innocent. I'm not allowed to speak about the case. But
because the courtroom is no longer, you don't no longer have just a jury in the courtroom.
Yeah.
People, social media,
they
are the jury. If they deem you to be guilty, then you're guilty.
I think more so they want him not to be able to speak publicly because the more
they wanted to go away.
Yeah. The more he say, I'm innocent, she lying, did it and poke holes in her story, the worse she looks.
Well, she already looked bad. So
instead, they would rather him not be allowed to speak about it publicly. But she can continue. Every time you look, she turn around and she's speaking for women that got shot. And it's like, well, now you're painting him as guilty constantly. He's not allowed to speak as an innocent person. And let me say, we don't know if he was innocent or guilty. I'm not saying on either side. I'm just saying everything points to more than likely he was innocent. I'm just being honest. So
it says, you've been an activist for decades now. What has your experience been like over the last few months? She said, people have motivated. People are hitting the streets. People are pushing for legislation. People are donating their time and their resources. But on the other side of the coin, it also pops that pimple of racism, of sexism.
What the hell does sexism got to do with all the activism going on lately?
Of the hostility towards black people and certainly the disrespect of black women.
Listen, that quote by Malcolm X, where he said the most disrespected person in America is the black woman. They've been using that quote as a crutch. It's like all the stuff you see going around this country. You think you're the most disrespected.
You know, I could take ease if she said, okay, you could say you disrespected, but the most disrespected person on the face of the planet is the black American man.
It's not even a close second, honestly. People gonna get offended by that. That's the truth. It's not.
I'm not gonna say black man. I'm gonna say black American man.
I mean, we're not even gonna go deep into that, but yeah, she's clearly a super. I'm pretty sure she said it. She's a feminist.
I don't understand. Luckily, I've talked about this in another video. I had a black female employee. She was older, and she's probably one of the most loyal black women I've ever had working under me, because I had one that was just
a snake.
It was like Satan.
You said her name was Katrina.
Her name was Hurricane fucking Katrina.
Her real name,
and that's how she was in real life, a fucking hurricane.
But yeah, so this whole idea that they're gonna keep selling this to black women, unfortunately, a lot of them will fall for it. A lot of women saw this commercial, and a lot of them was in the comment section, at least on other forms of social media, like, what's the big deal? I don't understand. And people was like, well, she's grifting for one, and she's also making this point that black women are going to save America. Why would you as a black woman want to save America? It makes no sense.
You would want your man to save.
You want to save your community.
Yeah.
You not even save your community. You would want your community to be uplifted. Why would you go out of your way to say, we're going to save this country and put it to a different place? That makes no sense.
Okay, then that's all we got for this video. Please hit the like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe to us, please. All praises to the Most High.